This is Ben Zinn with NextLevelGuitar.com. Thanks again for joining us today, bringing you another one of our Inspired By lessons. And we're going to take a look at the chord lead style of a great 50s guitar icon. Let's check it out. Hey, before we continue on, take a look at the text box below here. Click on this link in the YouTube text box and we are going to send you a free video lesson and a coinciding ebook that's not available from YouTube, available exclusively through Next Level Guitar. Take a look at that and we'll continue on. So today we're going to take a look at some chord voicings that we can use in sort of a combined chordal and lead approach. This great player from the 50s, this icon, used this approach so well, and today we're going to try to pick up some of that vibe and bring it into our own playing. There's a lot we can do with our simple chord voicings that we all learned when we first started playing guitar down in the cowboy chord register of the guitar. And we're going to learn how to transpose those up the neck and then do some funky 50s style rhythm playing. So let's start by reviewing our open position chords. I'm going to be playing these basic shapes further up the neck, so we want to reference them back to our basic positions. A D chord, a G bar chord, and an A chord. Now, what happens if I were to just say to myself, let's just play the top 3 strings of each of those chord voicing? Let's revisit what those would look like if we just played the top 3 strings. First, the D chord. Next, the G chord. And lastly, the A chord. So I have D, G, and A. Now, if I take these positions further up the neck and I move everything with the same interval, I can play these same voicings in a higher key, which is what we'll do for today's example. So I'm going to come up here and now play an A chord that resembles my D shape. But because I've shifted it up the neck, it now becomes an A chord. Next position. This would be a D chord, whereas before, down here, we were calling it a G. Now we've transposed it up to D. And lastly, an E chord. So now we've taken those same basic shapes that we all know and love from the open position, and we've moved them up the neck. And just as an aside, any shape or pattern that you know, you can always do that. It's a great tool to know about, to be able to take anything that you've learned in the open position and apply it to a higher position on the guitar. So, to review, we have an A chord, a D chord, and an E chord. 3 chords and the truth. That's all we need. Now let's apply some rhythm to this. In the intro, we played something like this. So we're just giving it a little bit of mojo. The basic rhythm, underlying rhythm pattern that I'm playing would be something like this. Once you got a good feel for that rhythm pattern, you can apply it to these chord voicings. Of course, with variations, but underlying underneath of that, we always kind of have that pulse going. those chord voicings, we have little extensions that we can do to add little flavors or extra colors to the tones. So let's go through some of those now. Starting with my A chord, I can add the pinky there, gives it a nice sus4 sound. So you can kind of just toggle between those two for variation. Likewise with my D chord. Here I get an add 9, D add 9 sort of sound. And then off of the E chord, you'll notice the fingering that I'm using here intentionally so that I can leave my pinky free to add that icing there. Okay, so once again we've transposed our open position chords, took those further up the neck, play in the same shapes, again the top 3 strings. We've created something different than our open position chords. Sometimes it's not about how many chords you know, it's about how many different ways you can use the chords that you already know. With that in mind, we have a good rhythmic foundation, and we've got some alterations, some little additions we can do with our pinky. What if we want to get into some single note playing? We can certainly do that as well. Some nice, simple, but effective single note lines we can use to answer inside of our groove. Let's check out a couple of those. Okay, so there we're just going to add some simple, quick, but really effective, I think, single note runs just based on the A major scale that we can use to answer our chord hits. Okay, the first one that I did was off of the A chord, which, by the way, I didn't mention this before, but a nice sound is to really slide into that first A chord. I like the sound of that. So I'm kind of striking the D shape and sliding all the way up into the A position. That sort of thing. And I'm going to answer it with just a nice descending major scale line. Nice and quick. A little alternate picking run. Walking right down the scale. I did the same thing off of the E chord too. And I just, for practice, I can isolate that and work out my picking coordination, just alternate picking. Just gives you somewhere else to go besides the rhythm playing if you want to add in some different flavors there. So that's all of our concepts for today. We have some nice chord voicings that we shifted up the neck, playing it with a nice funky 50s rhythm, and adding in some single note lines if we feel like it. So thanks so much for joining us today. Make sure you visit the website, nextlevelguitar.com. Go there, refill your flagon of knowledge. There's over 1,000 video lessons there. So much good stuff for players of any skill level, any style you can think of. We got you covered over there, nextlevelguitar.com, and I'll see you back here next time. Thanks.